And here we are back at South Hyrule Field. Indeed, the Ocarina of Wind serves as our quick travel game. All you need to do is just make a Crest of Wind explode and you can travel to it at any point. Unless you're in a building or dungeon, then you can't. And excuse me, Eslo, I think I understand the concept of quick travel, thank you very much. Honestly, how rude. Anyway, aside from Eslo being a rude jerk who doesn't think I understand simple concepts, as I said before, this is pretty much going to be a side quest focused episode. In fact, unlike the episodes leading up to the previous dungeon, I don't think we're going to be doing anything story related this time around. So if you don't want to watch this, then just feel free to skip because it's going to be entirely side quest stuff. Starting from another Kinstone Fusion with Smith. Indeed, some people can have second Kinstone Fusions. I think most of them are shared. I mean, this one is green. Green Kinstone Fusions do have a tendency to be shared, but I could be wrong about that. There is not really a good guide on Kinstones written. And plus, all the Kinstone Fusion guides I have seen are kind of inconsistent with each other. Like, for example, remember that vegetable seller? One of the guides I checked for Kinstone Fusions didn't even have him on there. Like at all. Not under shared Kinstone Fusions, not under single Kinstone Fusions, no, he just wasn't on there, period. So yeah, I'm sure a good guide could have been written by this point if anybody cared enough, but the problem is I don't think anybody does. In fact, if I remember correctly, I didn't really use that many guides when I was actually doing Kinstones myself. Just like a few of them here and there, basically just to point me in the right direction, and even then I don't think they were all that helpful, except for one particular business scrub that still kind of annoys me. But, nonetheless, that's not too important, because at the moment it's still fairly obvious where Kinstone Fusions are. They're still kinda easy to find. Oh, damn it. Have we actually seen that just yet? I don't think we have. But indeed, those guys can actually stab money out of you. And I thought it was only blue rupees, but no, it can be red rupees. And yeah, that was a lot of rupees actually, so I really don't appreciate it, especially since the rupees disappear quickly. But speaking of rupees, we do actually have enough of them to purchase the next bomb bag. But before we do that, why don't we do the Cuckoo minigame? And as you might have guessed by this point, the Pegasus Boots are indeed the item that you more or less need in order to complete all these minigames. I'm still not going to sit down and focus on all of them just yet because we've got a lot of stuff to do, and honestly these minigames can wait, but in the meantime I might as well just do this one. You know, do one at a time. Ooh, whoops, I stabbed him, and naturally he kind of freaked out about that. But yeah, I might as well just complete it now, because that's one I don't have to do later. Oh, and bit of a tip right there. Throw the Cuckoo at like a wall or something if you don't want them freaking out and running too far away from you, because then they get stuck in a corner, and I definitely did that on purpose there. Certainly it was not an accident, not at all. Alright, so let's see, we got a couple of Kinstone Fusions as well, I believe. Or I could be wrong. Now, what about you on the... No? Alright. What about you, Fido, or whatever your name is? Okay, his name is Rolf, that's right. And, I hope not too many people have this Kinstone Diffuse, because, I'm already kinda running low on those things. It's really annoying. As I said before, you do kinda have to sit down and grind for these, and I haven't really done that yet because, I mean, I guess it wouldn't take that long, but, you know, there's not really too much that I need to do between episodes other than, like, sometimes buying some figurines, so I forget to do it at times, alright? Okay, fine. Excuse me, I would not be beaten by a random NPC. Mr. Headband NPC, honestly, how dare he? Anyway, here's the big bomb bag, but of course now there's a big quiver now that we have a bow, but as I'm sure you guessed, we won't be able to afford this anymore. probably would have been a better idea to buy this instead of the bomb bag, considering the fact that I haven't gotten any Quiver upgrades yet, but you can hold a fair amount of arrows at first, so I'm not too concerned about it. Alright, let's see. Well, cafes usually got plenty of Kinstone Fusions, so let's see who we got here. I wonder what happened to the king. Ah, well, no use thinking about it. Let's just let him be evil out of nowhere. And speaking of evil, already ran out of these Kinstones. Oh boy. That box better be worth it, because I just spent one of my last shaped Kinstones on that thing. And we fused Kinstones better than Mama. Or on par with her, I guess. There's really no way to be better at fusing Kinstones than anyone else. And those, by the way, I pointed them out before, but those are spots you can dig at, so you can use your moments. But of course, without that little platform there, you couldn't have gotten up to dig, because you can't dig underwater. Or we can't even swim right now, really, so we double can't get over there. Well, now it's just single can't go over there now that there's a little bit of land there. Alright, thank goodness Chai has the little triangle Kinstone, because seriously, I still can't fuse with a hurdy-gurdy, man. I mean, come on! Why does the most common Kinstone have to be the one I don't have any of? Well, then I'd be lucky if that were the case, and you can't be lucky at any point in your life. Especially when it comes to recording video games for the internet. Then you just never have any luck whatsoever. So there is actually something over here that we can get. You might have noticed it while we were shopping, but there is something behind Stockwell's counter there. When we went over there before, nothing really happened. But, I mean, he did notice us, but other than that, nothing important happened at all. This time around, though, once we make our way through this enemy-infested area, seriously, Stockwell, you gotta clean up here. It is filthy. The frickin' cafe is cleaner than this area. Come on, man. Oh! Excuse me, I'm going to have this bottle, and you're not going to stop me. I don't care if it's not for sale. I will do anything to get this bottle. Yeah, of course I just want the bottle. Do you not understand the value of this bottle, sir? No, of course you don't. You would have put it on sale with the rest of the items. You would have charged for all the money if you knew just how powerful this bottle is. But nonetheless, from this we do get a bottle. It's not empty at the moment, but we're going to empty it ourselves by giving a dog food. That's kinda nice, since Stockwell never actually goes home to feed his dog. He probably just does it when you quit and everything's off screen. That's probably how it works. Unless the tether cat principle is in effect. In which case, well, I feel bad for his dog. I really do. But that's that for the cafe. But I believe there is still plenty to do around Hyrule Town. Plenty of stuff indeed, because quite a bit actually got unlocked after the 3rd dungeon. No new ability from Swiftblade, though. Of course, we can probably go back and get a new magazine from him, though. Ah, and what do you know? Oh, thank goodness. Every time I see green, I'm just preemptively ready to complain. But no, thankfully Pina is kind-hearted and actually gave me a Kinstone Fusion I can actually do. And thank goodness for that. So, I might swing by the Minish Woods later. This is, after all, side quest episode. There's no use in not going out of my way, and hey, what do you know, this place is finally open as well. In fact, everything but that locked weird room with the heart piece and the 3 chests, everything but that building is pretty much unlocked. Actually, no, that and I believe the school is still locked. And the library, but that won't be locked for much longer. But anyway, I'm getting sidetracked here. This is a little mini-game. It's not really that fun. You just fight a bunch of monsters, and apparently You can't actually get hurt here, and yet he doesn't actually know what happens if you die in the dream. So, die in the dream, die IRL, I guess. I mean, it's basically just a whole lot of enemies that you have to fight, but I've never actually died here. It's honestly not that difficult. Of course, you can lose a lot of rupees thanks to these jerks. I believe it's a random set of enemies each time, or maybe what enemies you fight actually changes the further you get through the game, but you don't really get any new rewards, so this honestly isn't a minigame you'll be doing very often. I mean, it's not even that good for money, I guess. Yeah, those guys didn't really drop anything. You might as well just go out into the world and fight things. But you do get a free piece of heart if you win the minigame quickly enough. The reward is probably usually Kinstones any other time. I do like the fact that Eslo sleeps in longer than Doylan. That's kind of funny. Did you enjoy the ride? You weren't killed, right? You're not gonna sue us? Okay, good. Well, anyway, that was, we'll say it was fun. Probably nothing here in the shoe store, because I don't think this guy ever has any Kinstone Fusions, so we don't really need to worry about him. On the other hand, we have this area. Alright, thank you, Lolly. And what do we get from this? Another thing in Minish Woods. I am probably going to have to take a trip to Minish Woods soon, since there are a few rewards here. Yep, and what about you? I don't even care about what you have to say, I'm just gonna make you use Kinstones. That is your only worth as a human being to me, child. Alright, and another one of those points. But of course, we can't get there unless we know how to swim, so it's still kinda useless at the moment. So let's just see what's up in here. Now this isn't a character that was in Wind Waker as far as I know. Yeah, I'm pretty sure he wasn't, but anyway, this is Karlov's brother, I believe. And it pretty much used the same sprite, but he's actually my favorite NPC in the game. He just absolutely hates the game that you want to play, to the point where he's that shocked if you ask him to play it. I don't know why he runs a gambling house if he hates gambling so much. Or maybe it's just because we're a child. He's trying to discourage us from it, which, yeah, I guess that's kind of nice, actually, you know? He wants to make sure kids don't get into a life of gambling, that's respectable. Anyway, simple minigame. This is very luck-based. Just choose a chest, and you'll either lose, or you'll get 2 rupees, or times 2 rupees, rather. And it will double until you get max money. And, yeah, you can lose out a fair amount of rupees for losing this minigame, but, you know, you can also save right outside the shop and then try again if you fail, which certainly, you know, I wouldn't do myself. Why would I ever save scum at this minigame? That would just be wrong to do that. Yes, push my luck, because I'm certainly just, I could have failed that so hard. It's a good thing I didn't. Whew, just passing that by the skin of my teeth, let me tell you. Oh man, so, are we gonna get it again? Yes, we are. And just one more, and we'll be able to beat this minigame, and he's just going to force us out, because we're gonna get max money. I mean, technically speaking, we're not even getting all the money he's supposed to reward us. Just gonna give us 999. He still looks kinda happy when you win, though. I love that line so much. I love it so much. The line you get when you lose is also pretty funny. I can't remember off the top of my head, but it's something along the lines of him calling you foolish and that you should stay away from wherever because you've wasted your money. Something like that. Alright, but thanks to the fact that we have max money, now we can buy the Quiver. See? All according to plan.
Oh!
Yeah, I am a big spender. Thanks for marking your items so high. And with that, there's nothing important to buy at the shop at the moment, so let's see, what else do we gotta do? Well, there's this right here. Digging prohibited. Well, I'm just gonna completely ignore that, thank you very much. I'm gonna dig as much as I want to. And yep, there's a chest right there. As I said in the previous dungeon, most of the puzzles from the moments just come from visuals. It's just hiding stuff behind dirt, which is kind of obvious anyway, just because, look at that. Can you tell where the treasure is? Yes, you can, because there's an empty square where it is. I don't know why I like the moments, to be completely honest. They're not that amazing of an item. But for some reason, I just really like digging through this here dirt. Again, it's not a huge thing, it's just kinda neat. I don't know. Can you explain why the moment's a good item? Who knows? We have actually been in this area before, but because we didn't have the ability to split ourselves, we weren't actually able to put the rocks into place, which is basically what the goal of that area is. You gotta find different points around Hyrule Town to descend into that area, place the rocks there, and once you get all of them in place, then you'll be able to access the treasure. But yeah, the other one is in Mayor Hagen's house, or not house, but the office he's in. He doesn't actually live there, as we'll soon find out, but yeah, it's over there, and every time I play the game, I always forget that's the case. So yeah, we're not actually going to be unlocking that for a while, just because I forget that exists. But anyway, we can actually access the inn now. So basically, you can stay at the inn and you might get a prize, but even if you stay in the most expensive room, you don't get anything like a piece of art or something like that. It's nothing overly important. I'm probably going to do that later, but not right now, just because it would waste most of my money. And I'd really rather not go back to the gambling man. I mean, he's disappointed in me enough as it is, I don't want to worry him anymore. And a thing appeared in Hyrule Castle Garden, but we've never been allowed in there before, so how do we get in, I wonder? So here's a thing we can't do, so we're just going to ignore that for now and get a piece of red kinstone from a pot. That's highly unusual, so I guess I got lucky, or maybe that's just a rare pot that they put something in. And do you get the naming scheme between this guy and the last guy we talked to? Bindle and Satchel, get it? And they're at the end. Huh? You get it? You get it? And yet another thing in Minish Woods. Yeah, probably definitely going to have to go back there. Anyway, another major thing at this inn is these three girls. So this is, of course, a reference to the goddesses in the Zelda series, as well as the Zelda Oracle games. All three of these characters were in the Oracle games, which, of course, were also by Capcom. Din was in Oracle of Seasons, Nehru was in Oracle of Ages, and Flora was in both, but she wasn't important in any way. But they are actually part of a small side quest that you can do here, which we're actually doing right now, technically speaking. And that, of course, is Gorman, who is in Ocarina of Time and Majora's Mask. This time, though, he's a landowner, and not trying to harm us or rip us off in any way. Now this time he just wants to sell a house, so why don't we go over and speak to him in a bit. First, though, I do have to talk to this guy. And thank goodness, and oh man, I'm running out of this Kinstone as well. I had so many of these at the beginning of the episode, where'd they all go? Well, to fusions, obviously. Ah well, I suppose it's important to get those out of the way. As long as they're being used for something, I don't mind too much. So, as I said before, the school's still locked, we can't go over there. Even though a reward just did open up in the school area, or at least in an area you can access as a Minish, we can't actually enter that area, so oh well. And, oh, we can fuse with Milan. Of course, it's this piece. Why doesn't she have an important Kinstone piece, like a blue or red one? You'd think she would, considering, you know, it's Milan for crying out loud. Ah well, let's buy a Swordsman Newsletter. Unfortunately, I didn't actually do that last time, so we're gonna buy one now, and then we're gonna continue on in Hyrule Town and come back later. If we just leave and come back in, then it'll immediately be bad, but well, we should give it time to come out, you know? So, oh, right, have to equip the Pegasus boots because I'm trying to go fast, not dig up the ground. Alright, so anyway, Gorman was looking at that house and he wanted to rent it out, so let's see about getting that house rented out, because I kind of want to enter the house myself. It's been locked all this time and I want to go in. Okay, I don't know why it has to be a woman specifically, but we do know that there are women who need places to go, and in fact, we just talked to them. Also, we fused Kinstones with one of them in order to activate the fact that you want to sell your house, or rent it rather. So you can choose any of these three to occupy the house, and I'm gonna choose Nehru, because she's my favorite. Even though I don't like Oracle of Ages in any way, she's still my favorite of the three goddesses. So, your reward for doing this is each girl has a charm. Nehru has, well, her own charm, and it increases defense for a little while. So, Din and Furore are here on their own, unfortunately. They just have to wait around. But, if we go back, I believe there's someone around here who will actually activate another part of that side quest. Also, I want to grab some water, because there's a little more I want to do in Hyrule Town just after this. But that's not going to be used immediately, because I don't think anyone around here has a fireplace. Actually, I think someone around... yeah, someone over here does, but he will not let you in. Ugh, how obnoxious. Ah well, what I'm trying to do is over in the carpenter's house, or builder's house, I guess. Well, you know, there is someone who's looking to build another house, because he's into, rent his house. I keep forgetting the word rent for some reason, and I don't know why. This, however, is not the thing you need to do to get the second part of the quest. This just gets you a random treasure. So that opens up, but let's see if any of these guys are the ones I'm looking for. There are only 4 carpenters here, though, so maybe we should go looking for him. After all, there are supposed to be 4 carpenters. I don't think there's much to do as a Minish, but I'll check real quick. Oh hey, we can fuse with this guy. And actually, never mind, we can't. And since we can't go up the stairs, there's pretty much nothing else here we can do. So I was right, there is no need to be a Minish right now. I mean, I could be, and I could get a thing if I had the right Kinstone pieces. But I might actually leave that in just so I can point out the fact that he's named Growler. You know, that might be not important, but something to note at least. And, you know what, let's actually check... oh, wait a second. Hey, pal, how's it going? Here's the missing carpenter, and indeed he does have a red Kinstone. In a matter of minutes, huh? You do realize that houses have to take time? There's a lot that goes into a house, you know, to make them structurally sound and all that. Ah well, we'll leave him to it. For now, we're going to read this newsletter, because we can. I mean, why wouldn't we? I want to hear more hot tips from Swiftblade. And this is actually a really handy tip. I usually forget about this, but you can actually use your boomerang on those sparks. And it's similar to a little something from previous Zelda games. We'll see that later, because I believe I do remember to show that trick off. This, however, will not be terribly important. like, for the rest of the game, actually. What, already? Oh, but we have a reader letter, thank goodness. And now we know that Swiftblade spends a lot of time on his eyebrows, and I mean, it definitely shows, right? I'm sure you've all noticed, he does a fantastic job on those, I've gotta say. And I am gonna drop money on another Swordsman Newsletter. It's always a joy to buy those. I'd count those for 100%, I mean, why wouldn't I? So, let's see, what else is there to do around here? Well, we did just activate a new house. But more importantly, let's just pour some water in this fireplace. Because with that done, we can actually go out onto the roof and go to the other house. Yeah, Eslo's pointing out the fact that that cat will try to attack us if we get too close. Yeah, sure is. Don't know why he pointed that out before, because I believe a cat has tried to attack us before. This one will fuse Kinstones with us, though. Also, it's named Scratcher, and earlier we met a dog named Growler. Now, that could be completely coincidental, but, Scratcher and Growler, Scratch and Grounder, like from, Adventures of Sonic the Hedgehog. I'm pretty sure that must be a reference, right? Oh yeah, and even after you fuse Kinstones, that cat's still an asshole and it tries to kill you. Oh well, that's the price of being a Minish, I suppose. Guess Capcom just wasn't a company filled with cat people, if that's anything to go by. So, now that that's done, why don't we go back to the other side of the map here, and see how that house is coming. There's no way he built an entire house within a few minutes. Come on. That's just completely unrealistic. Well, okay then. So now, you can talk to one of the other women. Or, I guess, technically speaking, they're the oracles. We'll go with that, since it is pretty much an oracle, what do you call the collection of the Oracle games? Whatever you refer to them as. Yeah, it refers to the Oracle games, which makes sense since that was Capcom's first handheld Zelda game, or they were rather. And I'm gonna go with Din. Her charm will increase power, and I went with her over Furore because Furore is kind of my least favorite of the three. Not to say I dislike her or anything, and it's kind of strange how the lady who represents the Triforce of Courage, which is what the hero is normally, that's normally his Triforce piece. But for some reason, yeah, Furore is just my least favorite, so she doesn't actually get a house, because there's no third part to this side quest, unfortunately. I do feel bad for her, because now she just hangs out at the inn and is kind of sad that her friends are gone, so it's kind of depressing, actually. So, I do feel bad for that. I think the theory is either that this side quest might have been unfinished, or more likely in my book, that it's kind of a reference to the Oracle games, and that not all three are represented completely. By the way, in case you're wondering, Furore's charm actually gives you temporary attack and defense. You might be wondering, that charm seems so much better than the other two since it is the other two combined. Why didn't you go for that one? And my answer is, favoritism. Wow, don't just say that to their faces, Eslo, seriously. Quick note before we go back to that, you can ram sparkle trees and just completely destroy all but the stump. I don't know how that works because we destroyed a lot more of the tree than just the leaves. Oh geez, I believe that's a moldworm. They try to eat you. And I don't want that because it's kind of gross, because once they eat you, you don't want to know what comes after that. Same thing with these guys. I'd just like to note that those aren't rocks that they're carrying. And also to note, I believe the results of both getting eaten by a moldworm and getting hit by the not rocks from the pestos results in Link turning brown. Just let's not speak of that anymore. For some reason, the cows don't try to eat you. You'd think they would. I mean, they're cows. They don't really care what they're eating. They just go down for grass, and there's grass everywhere, so, you know, you'd think they'd accidentally try to eat Link. Or Doylan, rather. Keep forgetting my own name changes. Ah, well. Oh, hey, and an actually important Kinstone Fusion. With blue Kinstones. Thank goodness, I have plenty of these. I don't need any more of them. Well, okay, technically speaking, I kinda do, but not as urgently as green Kinstone pieces. So, I was going to say something else about the, oracles. What was it again? Cover the charms... Oh yeah, coincidentally, I actually assigned them based on, colors of the roofs. Nehru went to the house with the blue roof, and Din went to the house with the red roof. That's just pure coincidence, but I thought I'd just point that out. Anyway, with that out of the way, and the cow not out of the way... Move already, jeez. Ay, the nerve of some cows. Yeah, well. So we have this cave right here. We've already been in here, as pointed out by the empty chest right there, but since we talked to Tingle, there is actually someone important up here now. It is one of his brothers. So this guy's fairly out of the way, but we can fuse kinstones with him if we have the right kinstone, but I don't have the right kinstone, so I can't. You actually get a pretty good reward for, or at the very least a very different reward for talking and fusing with all of Tingle's brothers, so I don't know why most, if not all of them, are green Kinstone Fusions? That doesn't really make much sense, honestly, but whatever, I'll deal with it, I suppose. Hello, I believe you're David Jr., if I remember correctly. I don't remember the names of Tingle's brothers off the top of my head, but yes, he's David Jr. And he has another Kinstone I can't fuse with. That's just great. Ah well, at least we're not here for nothing. After all, we do need to feed this dog, who just goes right over to her bowl, despite the fact that I'm a stranger here. I mean, I guess that is fairly realistic. I mean, dogs aren't that friendly where they'll just welcome any stranger. Neither are cats, but, you know, usually if they're hungry enough and they know the person at least a little bit, they'll just go up to them for food. Thanks a lot. At least that's how my cats work. Oh hey, you've been here to fix stuff from time to time. Can you feed us? Oh hey, how's it going? You've been off to college for months on end. You're still feeding us, right? Anyway, I'm actually going to wash this empty bottle out. I mean, it doesn't matter, but, you know, I don't want to give Doylan any sort of dog food fairy or dog food potion. You know, that thing should be cleaned after use. Technically speaking, it should be cleaned after every use, but dog food especially, because kibble's kind of gross. Kind of very gross. Now, we're actually almost done with our sweep around Hyrule for side quests, or at least this sweep anyway. There are a fair few sweeps for side quests just because there are so many side things to do. That's Vale Falls, so there's nothing important to do up there since we already got the Heart Piece. And we're almost back to South Hyrule Field, which is where we started and which is actually where we're going to end it. But we still got a little bit to do at the very least. After all, there is this earth wall here. Oh, and by the way, I'm just gonna show off eventually, seriously, come on now, give me something. There we go, okay. A mysterious shell. There you go. I got something for digging up the ground. See what I mean about RNG? Also, I know one of you are like-likes. You cannot fool me. I basically have like-like senses. I guess technically speaking they're actually called rupee-likes, but same difference really. And if we fuse with this mysterious wall right here, this is actually for a particular side quest which we've already started. Alright, that's perfect. With the two of them together, they well, not really instantly, but they quickly break down that wall. And onward they go. So why don't we check out their progress? After all, since they broke through that wall, there must be something good in there, right? I'm sure they found what they were looking for. So, since they're right there, why don't we go check on them? Thank goodness they're so close. Hey, guys! Oh, come on, really? Oy, now there's a 4 Goron wall. So it's gonna be a little while longer before we actually complete that wall. But basically from now on you're going to want to keep a lookout for the mysterious walls, because that is mainly what's going to summon Gorons to that area. Oh, and by the way, major thing, I don't think I mentioned this out loud, but in the description, if you try fusing with Eni in the European version, but then you quit fusing, you actually won't be able to fuse with him anymore, making the Goron side quest impossible. So if you're playing the European version, make sure you have the correct blue Kinstone piece before fusing with them, or just don't save after talking to him. Otherwise, you're going to lock yourself out of something, and that is not good at all. Because you do get a fairly important reward for that. And speaking of fairly important rewards, we get to grow a beanstalk right here. And we didn't even need to sell any cows. So, given this guy was the one to plant that beanstalk somehow, he should be pretty happy. I don't know how he managed to actually plant that thing, though, because first off, there's grass in the way. He can't actually leave this area just because there's stuff blocking the way. Second off, he couldn't have climbed these stairs, and third off, there are well, okay, but he probably planted it before the monsters arrived, but still, he couldn't have gotten over to this area. Ah well. For doing that, you get this secret area with 200 mysterious shells, which is a lot of mysterious shells. I'm already at 600. A piece of hearts. And I believe 200 rupees, yes? Yes. That is a very good reward. In general, these beanstalks usually lead you to some pretty good rewards, so if you fuse with someone and they give you a beanstalk, that's pretty good luck right there. But we're actually just about done, because here we are back in South Hyrule Field. And I believe we've unlocked everything over there, and all that's left to do is open the chest. And another 200 mysterious shells. Very nice. I'm gonna have to get some figurines soon. But with that finished, next time on Zelda the Minish Cap, we actually progress with the story. Imagine that.